Okay, so let us turn to practice today. And as we have this week, I want to invite us to just begin by moving right into a practice, a little bit of Shabbat practice to prepare as we move into Shabbat together. So let's find a position for ourselves that's comfortable. In your chair, you might want to reset. If you have been sitting, just kind of lift yourself up and let yourself settle back into your seat. To reset an intention to be as fully present as possible. The practice itself is a Shabbat practice. It's the practice of shifting gears from living on the continuum of time where there's a past, present, and future, and actually connecting with that which is eternal, that which is timeless. And the only way to do that is by being fully present in the here and now. Find a position where we're comfortable. Press the crown of the head up a little bit towards the sky and root the feet down, if possible, placing the soles of your feet on the floor, spreading your toes, really feeling the support beneath you, and also feeling a connection with the sky above. Rolling the shoulders back a little bit, opening the rib cage and the heart space. Assuming a position of kavod, honor, honoring your body, honoring yourself, honoring your presence, honoring this moment. Instructions are very simple: to be here in this moment, and choosing any anchor that's helpful for you to be here, whether it's the sounds and the space around you, sensations in your body, coolness of the air on your skin, on your face, or noticing any other sensations in your body, any tingling or warmth, or any constriction or expansiveness. Or breath, noticing the breath entering and leaving without effort on our parts. Noticing aliveness. Being alive together here and now. And saying yes to everything that arises. Yes to the sensations. Yes to the sound. Yes to the breath. Yes to being alive. Yes to the emotions, whether they're pleasant or less pleasant. Welcoming things just as they are. And welcoming ourselves and accepting ourselves just as we are. Being aware of the judgments and opinions we have about ourselves and letting those go. And having it enough simply to be, no need to justify existence. As Rabbi Heschel wrote and taught, just to be is a blessing. One of the great teaching of Shabbat. to move from the world of doing and creating and changing to just the world of being with things as they are, without any judgments about it. Now let's work with the practice of mindfulness as described by the acronym RAIN, RAIN, originally offered by Michelle McDonald, and it's been updated by the Buddhist teacher Tara Brach, but it's a practice that we could understand really as a beautiful practice. It's a Shabbat practice. And I'll gently guide us through each step, starting with to recognize what is. We just begin by recognizing what's true in our bodies right now, without trying to change anything, just recognizing that state of our physical being. Recognizing what feelings or emotions are present. Naming them: fear, grief, anger, gratitude, sadness, joy, confusion, numbness, any or all of the above or more. Recognizing your emotions. And recognizing the patterns of thought that are going through our minds right now. Just recognizing that thoughts are being formed by the mind. Not whether we like them or we dislike them. Just that thoughts are arising. The mind is functioning, generating thoughts, doing its thing. And finally, recognizing our spirit, our soul, the pilot light that's burning inside each one of us, that is the part of us that is beyond our bodies and beyond our emotions, beyond our thoughts and mind, our essential, pure, untouchable self manifestation of the divine. Our neshama, our soul, pure soul. Imagine that as a kind of shamash that we can use to light our Shabbat candles. The A is for allowing or acknowledging, or allowing the physical sensations just to be, without trying to change them, without pushing them away or repressing them. Allow them to be present, knowing that they're impermanent, they will pass and change. allowing that flow to happen, allowing things to be in flux. And the same with our emotions, not hurrying them along, not pushing them away, not repressing them, just allowing them to move at their own pace, allowing the grief to be present, allowing the anger to be present, allowing the fear to be present, allowing gratitude, allowing joy, allowing sadness, allowing guilt, allowing shame, without getting stuck in it, just allowing it, allowing the mind to do its thing. With the eye, we investigate. Beyond allowing things to be, we actually curiously pay closer attention. Where do we experience our emotions right now in our bodies? Where do we experience and notice grief or fear or anger or guilt or shame or gratitude or joy? Radical acceptance of things as they are. And then the crucial final element is the N, which can represent non-attachment, or as Tara Brach expresses it, nurture or natural awareness. And for this stage, you may want to put your hand over your heart, give yourself a little massage, or even hug yourself. This is for remembering that we are not synonymous with those sensations or those emotions or those thoughts. They do not define us. They're moving through, but there's a part of us that lies beyond them. We can hold them with compassion, but we can just rest in awareness, which transcends them all. We meet them all with compassion. They will lose their grip on us. We won't get caught up in the stories. We won't get tangled up in our emotions. We won't become obsessed with sensations. We could be a little bit more free to respond to what's really happening. Let's move now into just sitting in silence together for the next 10 minutes. And if your mind wanders off, just a reminder that when you notice that you've spun away from, that you've drifted away from your intention to be here in this moment, here now, to be present, just come back to your anchor, even if it's for a moment, to the next breath, sensation, like sound. See if you can touch the moment. Come back to that touch point and drift away again. Catch yourself with compassion and practice tshuva. Just come back to the moment. And I'll bring us back when our period of silence is over. come to the last few minutes of our practice together. In keeping with the words of Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat, which begins, Tov lahodot l'Adonai, l'zamer l'shimcha elyon. It is good to be grateful. It's good to express thanks as we head towards Thanksgiving here in the United States. I invite you to see if you can just call to mind anything about your life for which you can access some gratitude. It could be just as simple as the sense of being alive right now in this moment, even with everything that is happening in this world, the goodness of being alive, or somebody in your life for whom you're grateful, or some aspect of your life for which you're grateful, or gratitude towards this group, or for this practice, something that allows your heart to feel a little bit more full, and that perhaps allows the pilot light of your soul to expand and grow a little bit. Let's just breathe with that gratitude. Maybe imagining the inhalation and exhalation as providing some oxygen to help that shamash, that pilot light inside, to grow, so that we can begin to experience the neshama yetera, the additional soul that our tradition teaches we're endowed with on Shabbat. Just a little extra measure of awareness, a little extra measure of gratitude, a little extra measure of presence, of openness, even if it's just a little. Diana. So breathe with the gratitude and allow the light to grow. And close that, the blessing that the Shabbat brings relief and respite and restoration and peace for all who need it. For everyone here and for all in the world who need it. When you're ready, you can begin to allow your eyes to open if they've been closed. Maybe wiggle your toes, your fingers, rub them together. Gratitude to everyone for being here, for this opportunity to sit together into Shabbat. I'm wishing you a Shabbat Shalom, and we close, as we do every day, with the Mourner's Kaddish, and hope that those of you who are here are able to stay on for a few minutes. Those who are reciting Kaddish are welcome to put the name or names of those you're honoring today in the chat. If you're not reciting Kaddish, please offer your support, stay present for those who are, offer your compassionate support in their time of grief. Thanks to Jordan for sharing the words of the Kaddish on the screen. And if you're reciting it, please join me by rising in body or in spirit, and you can unmute this time. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Rabba, Yalad, Yizrach, Yitke, Yamich, Kayechon, Kaye, Dechal, Beit Israel, Agalat, Amen. Shmei, Rabba, Nahara, Ame, Amaya, Ach, Har, V'Yitva, Yitadar, Yitamed, Yitalam, Yedikushah, Ela min kol birchata v'shivcha v'chata v'nechama v'alma shlama rabba min shumaya hayim aleinu v'Yisrael Ru aleinu Aseh shalom b'mama Tashvu ve'inu Yisrael Yakol Yoshvei Tevel Friends, thank you so much for joining us today. So good to be with you and to have shared this beautiful week together. Practice led mostly this week by Rabbi Daniel Raphael Silverstein. And just a reminder, next week we'll meet, as I mentioned, Monday through Wednesday. Monday will be led by Rabbi Susan Leiter. On Tuesday by Rabbi Jordan Ben-Dad-Appel. And Wednesday, Rabbi Dr. Mira Neshama will be leading us from Jerusalem. We'll look forward to 3 beautiful sessions next week. Happy to stay on for people who would like to share. If you're leaving us now, I want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom, the restorative Shabbat that we all need. And happy to stay on to respond to questions, or if people just want to share reflections on your experience with the sit today, or just use some more time to sit in preparation for Shabbat, you're welcome to do that. Thanks to Jordan Pollack for holding our space today. I think I saw one question about the rain practice. Our standing for here, I didn't actually, I decided at the last minute not to base the practice today on the text that I was had been thinking I would share, but I will share a screen. And Jordan, if you want to, Jordan, if you can put the link so that people will have. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So Jordan is sharing a link to the document. I didn't use the text that I thought I might use today, but it did conclude with this link. And there's a link to a piece by Tara Brach about the practice, where R represents recognize, just recognize what is happening now. That's really kind of our basic mindfulness about practicing curiosity. What is happening right now? And listening in a kind, receptive way to the body, the heart, the emotions, the thoughts. The A is allow or accept things as they are, not pushing them away, noticing any aversion to things being the way they are, and an instinct to push them away or repress them, and just letting that go and letting it be, to quote the Beatles. And the I is investigate with kindness, not just to allow it to be, but actually with curiosity, take it one more step. What is this? What needs more attention? What am I learning about what's happening here? So she lists these questions: what most wants attention? How am I experiencing this in my body? What am I believing? What does this feeling want for me? So it's really just more curious attention. And the N, which originally in Michelle McDonald's formulation of it is non-identification. That is to say, recognizing that what we're feeling, thinking, and experiencing is not synonymous with who we are, that there's a space there, that we're not tied up and interwoven with that. And Tara Brach changes the N to nurture. But the basic idea is the same. I am not these emotions. I'm not these sensations. I'm not these stories that my mind tell me. They're not final and they don't define me. And so we just rest in natural awareness or presence, which is the, kind of the spaciousness that provides some space between, some disconnection between the sensations, the emotions, the thoughts, and ourselves. It provides some relief provide some space. So it's a quick review of that. Thanks, Jordan, for sharing. I did decide, I just wanted to say, I decided I didn't want us to get caught up in the head with a teaching from the Parsha today. I just wanted to, I know what I needed was just some time to sit with you. So thanks for that. And I hope that was helpful for you. And perhaps people want to extend that into the afternoon or wherever you are in your day. Yeah, Nancy, I hope you got the link. Thanks, Jordan. If you put the link again, Deborah's asking, how do you stay calm before Shabbat? Well, ask my family how calm I am before Shabbat. They're not here, so I can tell you how I stay calm before Shabbat. One of the things about Shabbat that for me, that is, I think, well, that's now part of my Shabbat practice, is that I've really lowered the bar, which is to say that if I feel like I can even have a few moments of presence, that's enough. You know, the idea of having 25 hours of being fully present is, too high a bar. But in lighting candles, I don't know how many of you choose to light candles or not, but if you do, even just taking that moment before lighting to really be present, to really take in the light, to really notice the availability of that additional soul or whatever is getting in the way of experiencing the additional soul. I find it very, very helpful, very helpful. And the other thing I'll say, so I'm not necessarily calm is the answer. I'm usually actually, because I'm rushing and cooking and getting things on the table and agitated. I'm often not particularly calm. And I just need a moment to notice that I'm not calm and to be able to apply this practice to the agitation and annoyance and wishing things were other than they were, just kind of wishing they were smooth sailing, and offering compassion. The key of that, the key letter there in that rain is N, no question. The nurture. That's the essential ingredient, the compassion. So if we just take a moment to offer ourselves a lot of compassion, because life right now, I mean, it's harder for some people than others, but it is really hard right now. And we all need to offer ourselves a lot of compassion for the struggles and how the agitation and the fear and the grief can manifest. The other thing I'll just say is I mentioned, earlier in the week to Josh Fagelson, that one of the ways I think about our practice is a kind of microdosing of Shabbat during the week. That is that what we're really trying to do in our practice by having this extended period each day is give ourselves the experience of what it is really like to pause and just stay still in the moment. And the theory being that if we can do that, if we can experience that space, that we can maybe bring a little bit of that can strengthen our capacity in the tumult of life to be able to just have a little bit of capacity to pause before we speak or act, or like really notice what's happening so that we're not on autopilot all the time. So, and it's not easy, not easy at all. All right. Let's see. How to be mindful during sleeping time. Oh boy, that's another area. Well, I find connections in the New York Times very helpful when I can't sleep. That's my mindfulness practice there. Is raham mean plural? Michael Blackman asks, good question. If so, it gives me different strengths for compassion. If not, it shows my Hebrew deficiencies. Thanks, Michael. Interesting. It is plural, rahamim. Rachamim, the Hebrew word, which is usually translated as compassion, and the root is connected to womb, rechem. So I'm not sure what to make about it. I actually, frankly, Michael, had never really thought about that in the plural with sort of multiplicity of aspects of rachamim. Something to think about and look into a little bit more. Are there midot that speaks to the end of rain? Yeah, I think chesed, loving kindness, loving connection, is that nurture exactly. I mean, yeah. Sometimes you might experience, Jewish mindfulness meditation teachers basically taking the practice as a combination of these two of emet, truth, and chesed, loving kindness. Those are the two elements. What we're trying to do is say, like, well, what's the questions are, what is true right now for me? And that's what rain is, just like a technique for noticing what's true, and really going deeper into what is true. And then the N is the chesed, it's the compassion. That's really the formula of the practice: truth and compassion, truth and loving kindness. It sounds simple and not so easy. I know what I was going to say. I'm curious, since there are 137 of you still here. Somebody had raised at some point question about other ways for this community to connect with each other. Obviously, the chat is always so moving. People do a lot of wonderful sharing, and it's remarkable to me, the level of connection. But it occurred to me that maybe we could create another forum where people could communicate and share reflections on the teachings day to day, or just to connect in some way, say with a private Facebook group. I don't know how many of you are on Facebook, whether that is appealing or not, but I would be interested. I didn't set up a poll, but it would be interesting, and maybe I'll even invite you to email me at Marc with a C. Put my email in here. Let's say if that Marc at jewishspirituality.org. There you go. If I couldn't remember who expressed interest, but if you're interested, let me know, and I think we can look into setting that up. And might just be another way. It would be private. People would have to, ask to join, or join by invitation. It wouldn't be an open group, but people could certainly connect in that way. It might be another way of supporting this group as a community. Wordle's good too. I have found connections somehow better for me these days. Okay. We can't leave the chat open too much beyond when we close at 1:15, just in terms of, Jordan today and other folks who are holding the tech space who have to move on to other things. So that's, I guess, this Facebook group idea is a way to kind of extend the chat if you would like, and then it's always there. The whole chat is there. Okay. Okay, everyone. Let's end here. Just want to again wish everyone a sweet Shabbat. I hope you have even a few moments of sweet presence and of compassion for yourself, and of taking care of yourself in these really, really difficult times. So cliched at this point, but very, very hard times for our people, hard times for our world, hard times for many people. And grateful, Jordan, to you for holding our space, and as always, grateful to each of you for being your devotion, dedication to being here. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the other side of Shabbat on Monday. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Many blessings, and be well.